Man, this whole Tory Lanez thing, it's a wild ride, isn't it? You look at what happened, or what they happened, and it just makes you scratch your head. So, Megan Thee Stallion, right? Initially the story was different. The cops show up and she tells them she stepped on glass. That's the first thing reported. No mention of gunshots. No mention of Tory shooting her. Just glass. Why would she say that? It's a strange way to start a story that ends with someone going to prison for years. It makes you wonder what was really going on in that car. Think about that for a second. Stepped on glass. That's specific. It's a detail. Then later, the story completely flips. Now it's a shooting. Tory Lanez is the bad guy. He shot her in the feet. But why the change? People say, oh, she was scared. Scared of what? The police? Tory? Or was the story just not straight yet? This initial inconsistency, it's a big crack in the foundation of the whole case. If the first version isn't true, how can we be 100% sure about the second or the third? It's a question that needs asking, man. Then you got the whole celebrity aspect. These are famous people. Everything they do is under a microscope. Every word, every action, it gets twisted and turned. Could there have been pressure? Pressure to create a certain narrative. Pressure from her team, from the public, from who knows where. Once a story like that gets out, it's like a runaway train. The media grabs it, social media explodes. And the truth can get buried real deep, real fast under all that noise. It's tough to sift through it all. And this isn't just about Tory Lanez or Megan Thee Stallion. It's about how these things play out, how justice is supposed to work. When the initial report is one thing, and then it becomes something entirely different, you gotta pause. You gotta ask the hard questions. Was she protecting someone initially? Was she confused? Or was the story massaged later on to fit a narrative that was more, dramatic? More fitting for the charges that eventually came down? It's a mess. So, the story changes from glass to gunshots. Okay, but then what about the people who were actually there? Eyewitnesses. You hear whispers, reports that some people on the scene had a different take. Some accounts suggested someone else might have fired the gun. Not Tory. Now why wouldn't those accounts be front and center if there are people saying, hey, wait a minute, that's not what I saw, shouldn't that be a huge deal? It feels like those voices got drowned out pretty quick. You have to wonder what they really saw that night. And then there's the science, the DNA evidence. You'd think if someone shot a gun, their DNA would be all over it, right? Case closed. But the reports on the DNA linking Tory to the weapon, they say it was barely conclusive. Barely. What does that even mean in a courtroom? It sounds like it wasn't a slam dunk. Not even close. If it's barely there, could it be contamination? Could it be transference? It's not the smoking gun, literally, that they might have wanted you to think it was. That's a huge piece of doubt right there. Let's talk about what wasn't there. Missing evidence. Bullet fragments. You'd think those would be pretty important in a shooting case, right? Where did the bullets go? What could they tell us? But some of this crucial evidence, like the fragments, apparently never even made it to trial. How does that happen? That stuff is vital. It tells a story. It can confirm or deny claims. When evidence goes missing or isn't presented, it just adds another layer of what the hell is going on here. It makes the whole official story feel even shakier. So you stack it up. The initial story changes. Eyewitness accounts might point in another direction. The DNA is weak, barely there. And key physical evidence, like bullet fragments, is nowhere to be found in court. This isn't some open and shut case when you look at it like that. It starts to look like a narrative that was pushed through, maybe without all the uncomfortable questions being answered. It's the kind of stuff that should keep you up at night if you're thinking about justice. It's just not clean. It's not just us regular folks questioning this stuff. People in the public eye are starting to speak up too. Take Savannah Chrisley, the reality TV star. She's been talking to Tory's father, looking at the case files, and she's coming out saying, hold on, something's not right here. She's planning to visit Tory in prison. She's talking about a possible wrongful conviction. That's a big statement. She feels the full truth hasn't come out. When someone with a platform starts digging and finds things that disturb them, you gotta pay attention. Then you've got someone like Whack 100. He's a West Coast music exec. He knows the industry. He's been super vocal supporting Tory Lanez from the jump. Whack's been questioning the trial, the evidence, everything. He's pretty much said he believes Megan Thee Stallion lied about the whole thing. He's out there saying the truth is gonna come out eventually. And this guy, he's not afraid to stir the pot. He even reported that Tory got stabbed in prison in June 2025 just recently. That's a crazy development on its own, showing how intense this whole situation remains. And what about the people trying to get an alternative story out there? There's this YouTuber, Milagro Grams. Megan Thee Stallion's legal team is going after her hard. They're suing her. They say she's a mouthpiece for Tory, a paid surrogate. They accuse her of spreading false claims about Megan stuff about perjury, alcoholism, mental instability. So if you're Grams, you're basically being told to shut up. Is she really just making things up? Or is she pointing out inconsistencies that some people don't want discussed? It's a battle of narratives, man. Grams, for her part, is crowdfunding her legal defense. She says she's fighting for independent voices. She claims she's being unfairly targeted, maybe because she's challenging the official version of events. And now, as of June 2025, she's struggling with legal representation, losing attorneys. It paints a picture, doesn't it? It looks like there's a serious effort to control the story. Whether Grams is right or wrong, the attempt to silence her, and others who question the narrative, is something to think about. It makes you wonder what they're afraid of. So, let's put it all together. Megan Thee Stallion's first statement to police: stepped on glass, not shot. That's a huge red flag from the get-go. Then you have eyewitness testimony that maybe, just maybe, someone else pulled the trigger. That's not something you can just ignore. The story is already looking shaky, and it's not like the forensic evidence sealed the deal either. It makes you think, what else are we not seeing here? What other pieces of this puzzle are missing or were deliberately kept out of sight? The DNA evidence connecting Tory Lanez to the gun? Barely conclusive, that's what they said. Barely. That's not exactly a smoking gun, is it? And then there's the missing bullet fragments, key pieces of evidence that were never presented at trial. How does that happen in a case this big? When you add all these things up, the changing stories, the questionable evidence, the missing pieces, it's hard not to have some serious doubts about what really went down that night. It's a long way from an open and shut case. Then you see people like Savannah Chrisley and Whack 100 speaking out. They're looking at the information and they're not buying the official story, they're raising serious questions about fairness and truth. And you see the intense legal pressure on someone like Milagro Grams who's trying to present a different side. It makes you wonder if this whole thing was less about finding the absolute truth and more about securing a conviction no matter what. Is it possible that the system got it wrong? It wouldn't be the first time, that's for sure. Could Tory Lanez actually be innocent? Could he have been framed? Or at the very least, is the situation far more complicated than the simple narrative we were fed? Based on the inconsistencies, the weak evidence, and the lingering questions, you have to consider it. Maybe Megan Thee Stallion did lie, or maybe her story evolved under pressure, or confusion. The point is, there are enough doubts here to make you think twice. The full story, the real truth behind all the drama, might still be buried, and that's a problem.